And we're live. Alright. So, let's just get straight into it. There was an update recently which added rubber and added it to the recipes of some things that I produce. Which is tremendously inconvenient because it means that my recipes don't work anymore. So basically I'm going to need to tear all of these, just these 3 machines, right, out. As far as I know, that's the only thing it's been added to. And then rebuild them with rubber. So, first, let's see. Just to confirm, there's definitely not enough space in here to just like naturally put the rubber in. No, there's definitely not. Okay, so let's tear all of this out, put the rubber production here, and then move this stuff over. So that's going to be these 3 lines. Might end up having to move that one as well. Not gonna lie, having an update that just breaks your existing factories feels kind of bad, but whatever. I mean, surely there's some way, right? There's gotta be a way of doing this. No, there's not. We just have to dismantle it. All right, so it's this. Let me get up to here. It's going to be that. And at least up to there. And my inventory has failed. Unsurprising. Let's get some Conveyor Mark III stuff out of the inventory. And get more of these. Actually, you can control click, right? Alright. So then we can get some of those out. And some of that out. And then finish clearing this space out. Which my poor inventory is obviously going to fill up again. Alright. So all that stuff is gone. And we're just left with this awkward space. So, let's look at the recipe for rubber. Where is rubber? It's in any of these sections? Oh, I haven't unlocked it. Right. It's a new research. So let's fire that one up. And oh, they added the research queue. That's fun. Also get heavy explosive charges in the future, but for now we're just going to let that cook. Forgot that I needed to do that. Ah well. All right, building block production is another thing that I was doing, and I think we should theoretically be finished with it. So our structure over there should be done, but I don't think it is. If we head over here while we wait for the research to finish, yeah, it's still looking like that. Now, if I click, construction materials seem to be done. The construction progress is 0%. Assigned construction ship ports 0. Alright. Can I... Where was the construction ship port? Was it down here? I need some weird stuff. Okay. You need some weird stuff to make the construction ship port. Where are the advanced machinery parts? Let's grab a stack of those. And maintenance bots. Can only be made in assemblers for some reason. Well, that's incredibly annoying. Oh, I have transport ship ports. I never made a construction ship port. Alright, well let's just get an assembler in. Just somewhere over here. And we're just going to hand feed this whatever it needs. Alright, so assembler. And you make maintenance drones. And we put all that stuff in, and it needs hover engines. Because of course it does. Which is another assembler. So we tell you to make... Where was it? Components, hover engine, give it some stuff. And I guess feed the stuff along on a belt. So we can start making some maintenance drones. We need more advanced machinery parts. Advanced machinery parts are here. Give me another stack of those. And throw them in to make some more hover engines. There you go. And then this can just cook up the maintenance drones. Should have plenty of stuff now. Alright. On we go. And that's probably enough. I guess it technically doesn't hurt to just make more. And I need, what? How many of these do I need? I need 8 of them. And I need to re-grab advanced machinery parts and circuit boards. Alright. Advanced machinery parts, check. Circuit boards, check. Now we head back. And we should be good to make this once we have these. Alright, we've finished rubber production. Now let's unlock heavy explosive charge. Just because that's a fun thing that I can get. Should help with the thermalite production. Alright, now I have those. And now I can make the construction ship port. And it's actually quite small. I mean, it's huge, but it's small relative to a lot of this other stuff in this region. Where did you go? I had you like 30 seconds ago. There you are. Alright, in you go. And we need to grid connect you. So there you go. And off it goes. Cool, mission success. So now that should... Where is it going? It's probably just taking an indirect route. But that should be going now, and now we can head back and start working on the rubber production, which is our main priority for the day, of course. Just get back to where we were before the update. Alright, so components, rubber, liquid polymer, and high density olemite. So I have liquid polymer. That's not a problem. So high density olemite is just impure high density olemite and waste gas. Impure is crude olemite and steam. So I need to make some steam and then do some other stuff. Alright, so step 1, make some steam. So we get a boiler. Let's get 2 boilers, because why not? And they go in somewhere along there. And there. Alright. So we have a spare water pipe somewhere, right? Yeah, this one. So let's just grab this and grab some of these. And let's see, just heading straight over should be fine. So this comes along over here. And where does the water go? In. Alright, we see this. The steam output is there. Okay, the input is on the left, so I need to take that out. Pop you in there. Alright, so this then comes over 1, down a bit more. I didn't go over quite enough, so it goes over 1 more. Now it goes down. Now it goes down there. And corner in there, where we get the T intersection so that it can come out. We actually need to put fuel into this as well. Why is steam so annoying to make? It's just like mildly inconvenient in every possible way. Okay, actually, also we need a container for it too, right? I need to put the tank in, which is big and thus needs to be shifted over some. So we take all this stuff out and put in the tank just aligned like that. Then we put the boilers in with plenty of space. Alright, so this should turn around here, and I guess it'll just run along the top. Like so. And then those 2 go out. and they get T intersections. Then, actually I can make this more convenient slightly by just having to do this every other one. So then that comes up there, rotates over there, and in there. Alright, and we have hit pipe complexity. So where is... So first, we take some of that out, and we get a pump, pipeline, pipe pump, there we go. And it's, why is it all rotated weirdly? Hello? Which axis do we... There, that's the axis. Alright, if we turn off build mode snap, we can... That's a useful trick that I learned. And now we just have to bring power over, which is going to involve finding some empty space to put a power line. Alright, so then that can come along that way and hopefully fit in. Alright, so we get that. Then that goes over there. And we need more power poles, which means more plates and components. Back to find more plates and components. So let's see, there's somewhere around here. Plates. There we go. Grab a couple stacks of those. And electronic components. Grab a couple stacks of those. And then queue up a bunch of small power poles, which I really ought to automate at some point, but currently have not done that. Alright, so we can just continue running these along. And eventually we connect them up, and the pipe and the pumps are all set up. Alright, so then missing fuel, so we just need to find some ignium. Alright. Ignium. Where would you last be? There you are. Alright, so we need to get this out. Despite its very surrounded on all sides current situation. Alright, what if we have this ramp down earlier? Okay. I don't want to upgrade that entire line for no reason, but it seems to be the only way of placing this. Alright, so if that ramps down earlier, then we can take that out there. And ramp it back up. And now hopefully find a way to squeeze it outside. Which is going to be easier said than done, apparently. Alright, there's a bit of a gap here. Alright, I think I see a path. It's very difficult to actually see what I'm doing, though. Alright, so if I have this go like there and like there, does that work? No, it doesn't. I just need to attach this up to that belt. So now that gets into there. And if I then sneak in here and have you go up and over that, then you can twist around this way, and we're free. Alright, that was more work than it probably had to be. Certainly would have been nice for that to be easier, but we managed it anyway. Alright, now we just slope this down. Make sure not to go too early. Alright, so that is that. And then we feed that across, and no, not output. Input and input. Alright, steam is being made. So that's convenient. Now we just need to attach these up to the tank. And yeah. Alright, so now we have a tank of steam. And how much of this are we producing? Not a huge amount, but it's fine. Alright, so now we have that. Then the next step is crude alumite with the steam. And it produces all sorts of... It produces a waste gas as well as the output. So first we need another tank. I think we're going to need another one in the near future anyways, so let's get that in. So we get the tank. We're going to need a flare stack to deal with the waste gas. And actually, I think we need space for this. Yeah, so we're reasonably likely to have to use the back output anyways. So let's move all of this up one, like so. Alright. So now we just need to get the pipes. Now we just need the distillation column. So let's find distillation column. Alright, let's make a couple of those. And a 1, a 2, and additional space, and 3. So we need to set that to impure high density alumite. Also, do I have any other researches to do? I just realized I've been finished for a while. As we can do geothermal power, which I don't know if I'm ever going to bother with, but might be nice to have anyways. Alright, so now we have these, and we need to set up all the pipes. So the steam comes in the front, the alumite comes in the side, the output comes out the back, and the waste comes out that side. Alright, that's a problem. So we actually need 2 spaces, because we have an output and an input on both things. Alright, geothermal power unlocked. Now we throw in super alloy production, which looks like a prereq for some robot types. Alright, so now we have that. So the steam comes along the front, which should be quite simple. We just give each of these guys a T intersection, and then run the pipe along, and then that'll connect into the steam. The output runs along the back, which is similarly convenient. We just get the T intersection, and then this pipe runs along there, and then we have to get down to the tank, which requires a little bit of rotation, and one more pipe, and good. Alright, I'm going to need to grab a resupply of pipes, which are... I just one they were like right around here, right? Yes, here they are. Got another 200 of those. So next up, we have the waste gas, which comes out this side, which is going to be more annoying. So we need ultimately to get it into there. So I guess what we can do is put in a line of pipes like here, and then twist them into that. Right, that, and that. Alright, so then this line of pipes will come along this way and get T intersections there, there, and this one's kind of cramped, there. So now we just need to get all these corners in. No, Why did I place it like that? That obviously is not correct. So it goes like that. Wait, no. Why did I place it like that? It goes there. Then there. And then in there. Alright, so then we just have to get all of these corners in. So they go there and there. Then there. And there. And there. And there. Alright, so we have that. And that's the waste gas set up. And finally, the crude oleumite. So you need a pipeline along there, which then gets attached in at these spots. And it actually has to go along there. So we get those spots in. Then we have to do the corners. I hit a button. So like that. To go up one. And then over one. And we finished that research, which is good. Alright. All set up. So now we just need what? That one is steam, that one is oleumite. So, first off, the steam, which is just back here. Let's attach it up. And why can I not get this to rotate right? There we go. I think that is the right level. I actually don't know what the right level is. I'm just going to bring it around backwards like this. And then rotate over this way. And there. Corner down. And boom. Steam connected. Next up, we need our low-density crude oleumite, rather, which is, let's see, that's something else. Is it potentially one of these pipes? Let's see here. Yes, this pipe is crude oleumite. So just take that out, pop an intersection in, and over we go. Surprised that that cable isn't a problem. Not gonna complain though. Alright, then we need more pipes. There we go. Grab another couple of those. And we're probably going to almost certainly need to add a pump to this. Let's not do that preemptively. Let's just make this first. And boom. Alright, somehow it seems to be working. Yep, no pump needed. Now we get a lot of waste gas and a lot of impure high-density alumite. Alright, so that's that. Then we've unlocked some new thingamabobs in the meantime. Let's just mouse over them just to clear out the new stuff notification. There we go. Alright. Now we need to just distillation column this again to make actual high density alumite. So let's get another 3 distillation columns. And all crafted up. Very nice. Now we pop that in there. And we drag that forwards. And we need another flare stack as well. So that goes there. This makes high density alumite. And let's see here. Nothing in the front. The input in the side. The output in the back. The waste on the other side. Alright, let's get the rest of these in. And one more. Of course, they put nothing on the front because that's the easiest one to deal with, and we can't have nice things, can we? I guess I could make this easier to pipe by turning these sideways. That's actually definitely worthwhile. So if I turn this like that, then we have nothing there, nothing. Oh, I have to set the recipe probably. Alright, set high density alumite. So we have waste gas in the front, input in the back, output on the side. Now, it'll be easier, that's the panel on the left, it'll be easier to go panel on the right so that the waste gas is just already preemptively in the right spot. So we do that, and we do that. And let's take these two out, and then pop them back in. And high density alumite, high density alumite. Also, I only ever gave one of these the recipe as well. There you two go, firing on up. Alright, now we set this up. So I've managed to rotate it along every axis except for the one that is needed, as is tradition. So we put all this stuff in. Then we attach them up. Alright. So, that's the input, which just comes from here. We're going to need more pipes. May as well grab them while I'm thinking about it. There we go. That should be enough. So we take our input, and it has to go up a lot. Can't go all the way up as it is. So So we'll just send it up a little bit to not be in the way of that port if we need it. Alright, then it can come over here. Or it goes up the rest of the way. And that needs to be a corner. And boom. Input impure olimite. Right, alright, cool. So now we just need to attach that up to that. So let's send that pipe out 2. Then up 1. And then up a little bit more. And we rotate it and don't hit G instead of H. Alright, waste gas sorted. So now we just need to get the output into the tank. So I think we rotate them up 1. So up we go. And then over. And then they are going to be directed into these T intersections, where they then go in there. Now we connect all of this up. Alright, now we just need to get this over around that other random pipe and down and into the port. Alright, high density olimite producing. Now we just need that plus liquid polymer to make rubber in a casting machine. So let's see. Do I have any casting machines already? I don't think so. Casting machine. Casting machine, where are you? Alright, let's make 3 of these. And gosh, we are doing all sorts of manual crafting to get these in. Alright, so we have the casting machine now. And we need to put a box. And the casting machine can go there, I guess. And we're going to tell you to make rubber. So inputs are left and right. Alright, this is going to be made infinitely easier if we can fit it in sideways, which I really hope we can. Okay, actually we can. Barely. Wait, no, we can't. Yeah, because that's the wrong pipe. That's the wrong pipe, which means that this just barely doesn't work. Very frustrating. Okay, actually, I have an idea. Through the power of making this slightly higher, Alright, so we can place this on an elevated platform. Like so. Alright, and it needs to be facing the other way. So we go casting machine there. Why did that not place? I definitely clicked to place it. Alright, so now if we take that pipe out and fill it there. Alright, we have high density alumite in the machine. So now I need to grab more building blocks because I'm down to 7. And we will return and finish off that whole situation by finding the liquid polymer. Which I actually have no idea where that is, if it's anywhere within the vicinity. Alright, so we have building blocks. Which means we can then run this along. And those casting machines can go in as well. As well. And then we attach them up to there. Then we just run the belt along, slope it down, and have the whole box situation. So that goes, and it gets an input, and it gets an output. Alright, now we need to, I guess we may as well hook these output belts up and find the liquid polymer. Yep, liquid polymer. Sort of a yellowy pipe if I happen to see something similar. That's green. That's purple. Got all sorts of fun colors. What is that? Nothing? How is that nothing? Oh, is that like a flare stack pipe or something? Oh, it's telexite. Yeah, okay. Unsurprising for that one to be empty. Alright, this looks like liquid polymer. Yes, it is. Alright, it's a bit of a journey. So we take that out. And we can start pumping this over. We're definitely going to need a pump just because of how insanely long this pipe is going to have to be. Alright, so we get around the general vicinity of the corner. And we turn this way. And we keep on piping. Alright, yep, complexity exceeded as expected. And let's just add the pump in like here. No, apparently even that is too much. How about there? Yeah, that's a good spot for it, apparently. So, we get in a pump. And it's rotated weirdly. But strangely, having it rotated upside down is the best way to make it snap onto the pipe. Alright, so now we can just power that on. And we keep moving. Alright, out of pipes. Time to go grab some more. Back over here we go. And that's this one. Have another couple stacks, up to 300. Will that be enough? I don't know. But if it isn't, we will be very, very close to the pipe supply. So we'll be able to restock trivially. Alright, so then we keep moving our gigantic liquid polymer pipe along. And we keep on going. Alright, then this comes to around here. And now we just need to link it up with this input. So there, there, and there. Then the pipe comes over. Now time to do some corners. Corner. Corner. Oh, not quite. You need one more. And then the corner. And boom. Rubber complete. Alright, so that's that. How much rubber is this? 30, 60, 90 a minute. Alright, that's probably fine. Let's double it just to be sure. Let's get another bunch of those. And oh, the manual crafting hurts. Manual crafting hurts a lot. Alright. Just waiting on manual crafting. And I should just head over and grab some advanced machinery parts just for future purposes. Alright, so we're back over here. And they should be this one. Alright, so now we should have some of those at least. Now we can head back and build up this to be faster. So you get another 3. And T intersections there. And a T intersection there, I guess. And we need to make that a 4-way intersection because of exactly where I lined up. And that a T intersection. That's already hooked up. Alright, then we hook all of those up. And finally, the belt. Gosh, casting machines are loud. There we go. Have even more rubber. Alright, so now we need to set up our production lines for all of the stuff. So, hang on. We actually need some things to be coming in the back, right? So, conveyor 4s is conveyor 3s, Thermalite sheets, hydraulic pistons, and rubber. So that's 4 inputs, so it's 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and an output. So we need that to be spaced like that. Then we get those and those. And those. Gosh, this would be way more convenient if it wasn't a different number of inputs than the previous one, and I could just have like reused that, the old setup. Now I have to get all of the belts set up again. So that gets an output and an input. And I think I'm just going to set up all 3 of these at once. So we need a gap of 3. And then this. It's going to go off the edge. We're going to have to expand this out. Like so. And now that's positioned weirdly. Can't have that. So that goes there. Then we have the belts for it, which are 1, 2, 3. And then we go again, a gap of 3. And there. Alright. So now we put these belts in. Gosh, this is way more confusing when you're setting up 3 of them at once than when you're setting up 1 at a time. Alright, so these 2 go there. These 2 go there. Then these go in. Alright, then we get the output and the output, and not there. Thank you. The output and the input, and the input and the output. And these are all set up. And if I were very clever, I could have had them feed from the same belts to cut down on some of this, but I didn't think of it in time, so here we are. Alright, so now this is conveyor mark 4. This is slope mark 4. And this is balancer mark 4. So I need sheets, pistons, and rubber, and then the special things. Alright, just one last check that I did all that right. So first, the rubber, we need to get this out, which I think means sloping it up ASAP. And not pointing directly backwards. And that is going to run into a problem. It's a fixable problem, I think. if we take all that out and have this run like that, and only now slope down, then that works. And this can then squeeze out that way, but apparently not. Alright, so then in that case we need this to start going down sooner. Like that. And now this can go out this way. And something like that. And let's see. I think we're going to want it to be something like... Gosh, getting it to line up in snap mode is hard. But we're going to want it to be something like that for each of these. And just have it line up nicely for like a relatively stable thing. So then that comes out to there and there. Alright, so now we get this, which goes into that. That goes there. That goes there. Further back. Okay, even one further back. Alright. Build mode snap is that. And then that goes in there. And then that comes along. And that goes in there. Actually, this last one doesn't need to branch like that. Alright, so we have rubber. Check. Next up is the hydraulic whatchamacallits, or the Firmolite sheets, either one. So here's the Firmolite sheets, so we can just branch that off this way. This doesn't need to be... No, actually that does need to be a branch, because that is the building blocks factory. So this branch needs to move back a little bit to let this out. So let's just move it back there. And that goes there. Now this slopes up and over. Alright, now we need to do basically the same thing here. Actually, no, this can sneak out under, which means we want this to go low. And then split. And there. And then this keeps going. And then splits. And there. And it keeps going. and then splits, and there. Alright. So that's 2 of the 3. The Firmalite sheet supply is currently not incredible, to say the least. So Firmalite sheets show up when they show up, basically. Next up is the hydraulic... What are they called? Hydraulic pistons? Something like that. Alright, here's the hydraulic pistons. And they do this whole branching thing in there, which I don't need them to do, because none of those factories exist anymore. So we just need to get this belt here, bring it around, turn it that way, and slope it up. Alright. Now, we just... I think this one can also be grounded if it can squeeze under that, which it can't. Alright, it's fine. So this first one we can split like that. And slope both sides down. So this one... Gosh, getting the last one in is going to be hard, I think. The individual things, like one for each. Alright, so that doesn't work because that's there. So this can't actually be grounded, it actually has to go up. Alright, so this goes along like that. And we're just going to take all of that stuff out. And pop that in there. Alright, so then we get to like there before we start going down. And we should be able to just fit it in like that. Very good. So that one has them, this one has them, and then this one is gonna get them. So it goes up like there. And then this just turns around and please goes in. Alright, so now we have all of the generic stuff and we just need the one specific thing for each. So this one is getting belts. So Mark 3 belts. That's this. Alright, I guess we have to upgrade the lines if we want to add to them, which is very annoying, but workable. Alright, then this. God, how on earth is this going to get in? So we can send this down one. And over a bit. Down again, and in. Alright, we've done it. We've set that up. Then we need... The next one is slopes. So let's find us some slopes. That is this one here. It forces me to upgrade them in order to place it, which is very annoying. I'd really rather it didn't do that, considering I only have a limited number of these belts. Alright, so then that gets over there. And then it's going to have to slope down 2. And slope's done. Alright. Slope's done. And finally, let's just set this preemptively. Alright, so now we need to get the splitters in. Set this one. And yeah, of course. Grab some more of those. We are technically producing them. Alright, so you need to get around here. And then go down 1. And over that way. Then we need more of these. And now this goes over this way and slopes down and in. Alright, so that's that. Now we just need to expand that out so that we produce enough quickly to rebuild our supplies, which are currently somewhat catastrophic, although the thermalite sheet supply is not amazing at the moment. Yeah, we really need to do something about thermalite sheets. Speaking of doing things, I guess I could put another research in, but I think research also uses thermalite sheets, which I really don't want to do. So I think we're just gonna let that sit. And where is this? This is the building blocks one, right? Let's just deactivate that so that we can not throw all of our thermalite sheets into it. Should have plenty of building blocks at the moment anyway. Yeah, 12,000 construction material should be more than enough for at least the immediate future. And speaking of which, let's head on over to investigate our giant modular building that we set up. See if this is working. No grid connection. Alright, well, let's give it a grid connection then. Where? There it is. Alright. Grid connection acquired. And scan range. Is there a way of seeing where the scan range is? It says 40 chunks in each direction, which is really quite a lot. I mean, that's a huge amount of area. And I guess we click start. And yeah, look at that. Oh, unless these smaller things are chunks, in which case it's a lot less impressive. But even then it's pretty good. And grid stat wise, this is a lot, but not huge. Alright, so we have that. I would really really love another shipment of Thermalite sheets at some point, so we can get everything running again with the construction materials deactivated. It's funny, the long line of science buildings are all lit up. I should also take a look at the space station. R&D lab. We have another Lightbot upgrade. Even more. They're almost twice the price that they would be by default. And space station upgrade. Market offices. Olymite barrel would cost us almost all of our money. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think just for the safety of having a buffer, I'm going to wait a little bit longer until we have more money we can afford to throw away on stuff like that. But it would be very, very nice to be able to purchase Olymite. It would also be very, very nice if Thermalite sheets showed up. Love that. I guess there's not really much I can do aside from wait for Thermalite sheets. I don't have like any belts at all. So I guess we just wait. And this can produce all the rubber in the world. Should be almost done. Yeah, these stack up to 100 or 200. They stack up to 200. So we're like half a stack until that being back to on demand. It's funny, you see like the occasional little scraps of some Thermalite sheets on a belt, and you think, oh, maybe they've shown up, but they have not. So we're waiting here. Waiting along. Alright, Thermalite sheets. How are they so slow? I did unlock the ability for new fancy explosives, which should be able to increase that. So that should be nice. I really just need to wait for the sheets to show up. Like, I'm actually just basically 100% stuck until they do. So let's head over and see if they're close. I actually have a couple empty belts here. Probably telexite. Telexite is always a problem. Is this the Thermalite sheets? No, that's Olymite. Alright, that's probably fine. This is the Thermalite sheets, which seems to still be loading. Alright, well, let's then head over there and see how close it is. It's going to be right by the cave exit waypoint. I really need to clear up some of these waypoints. There are like a couple of them that just aren't really needed. Alright, so we have this. It is most of the way filled. That is great news. So once that fills up, then we can start producing our stuff again. And we can, like, do anything at all. Let's look at, because we unlocked geothermal power recently, which is okay. So we're just gonna ignore those then. Like, I actually just don't care. We're just gonna build solar panels at basic steam power, I think, and it's just gonna be easier. Alright, this is most of the way filled up. I'm going to hop in. So you can take these for a ride. Is there any details in here? It would be cool. Maybe these things are like signs of how full it is. Doesn't seem like it though. We're just gonna stand up in the cockpit, talk to our little robot friend. Hello, Mr. Robot Friend. How are you doing? You seem to be very busy for a robot that is just sitting on the pad waiting, doing nothing. Man, if I get out, it's gonna launch like instantly. It'll be too late for me to get back in. Alright. It is really slow, isn't it? Alright, I'm gonna get out and look. Yeah, we still have 150 left, which is still like a few minutes, I think. But let's hop in and just enjoy the ride. It's really neat, like, attention to detail that you can be in here and like ride around on the cargo ships. Can't really do that in Satisfactory. You have to like stand on top and it's kind of awkward. Alright, how far are we? I'm just gonna... Alright, we're filled up to just 50 left. I think once we get to 80 left, I'll get in. 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. We are basically there. So let's hop in. I wonder if the guy does anything special during takeoff. No, it doesn't look like it. But we have taken off. Now we can see the world from a very, very high vantage point. No, the render distance has ruined my goals of having a cool view. That entire factory is, I believe, just completely deactivated at this point. And over the mountains. And just about there. You can see it down there. That waypoint is like pretty close to exactly where we're landing here. Don't crash. Alright. And here we are. So that's fun. It puts down a little landing pad thing there when it lands. Alright, so now we have all of these. And let's see if we can take a shortcut to beat them over there. And we should have belts set up soon. That's science stuff. Right, it's after all of those. So right around here. Has to trickle through half a dozen other things first, but it should get here pretty soon. It's quite a slow belt, really, like, all things considered. Could be a lot quicker. There it is. Something like a 50% belt. And yeah, not all that much is making it back here. But enough to get it started, and that's the important part. And it looks like it has overfilled whatever some of those other things were, and now it's up to 100% belt. that's cool. So now we can finish all of this so that the main belt can do all of this stuff. We need a lot of belt production, and so we need a lot of belts running to make the belts. This is a very, very awkward position to be in. I do have a box of tier 3 belts, but it's not worth going back to grab them at this point. We're almost stable here anyway. Alright. So we just need like a couple more belts. Grab those. So we get those expanded out. Now we get all of these. And all of these. And we put the short ones in. Then we head around to this side. Put these in. And boom. Belt production is now going overtime. By overtime, I mean any reasonable speed. These ones are fine to go very slowly, of course, because we simply do not need that many of the things they make. Gosh, it's nice not having every single Firmalite sheet instantly go into the absolute black hole that is construction materials. Alright, we are officially now back to where we were before the update, where we have all the important stuff automated. Give me at least 100 of that. So we have all the important stuff automated, and it is good to go. So, now that we have that, I think what I want to do is... Alright, we have enough of a buffer that I think I can realistically afford to buy the Olimite barrel license. So let's buy that. And then, with that in hand, we can start cooking up a new, what's it called? A new production line for robots. Actually, though, there is another thing I want to try, which is the other fancy mega building thing that we have here, the radio tower. So I just need to grab 100 steel beams and get that set up, and we should have enough construction material to do this already. If I set up a radio tower, then we'll be able to talk to the space station from anywhere instead of just the one spot, which will be very convenient. Alright, radio tower, check. Then we have all this stuff for the blast furnace, which I think I'm pretty likely to just ignore the blast furnace and just be slightly less efficient. I know, I'll take a look at the blast furnace and see how much effort it takes, basically. But I'm expecting to just say no thanks to it. Alright, radio tower base. Open modular building planner. Alright, so we need a power connector. We need a middle part. We need a middle part. We need a middle part. We need a top part. Apparently that's just strictly necessary to have every single one of those things. So we can click Start Construction. And it needs how much? Hang on, I forgot already. 5,100. So we need 5,000 construction material. Let's head over to our warehouse and see if we have that. I think we do. 12,000, yes. Easy peasy. So that will let us contact the space station from more places. Alright, so then the next thing we need to do is figure out what robot we're building. And I kind of want to try one of the giant robots. So we have like these different personal assistant, farmer, combat, miner, science. Let's see, which of these seems relatively simple? Are they all... They're all going to require energy cells. The personal assistant... They're all going to require energy cells. Most of them seem to require... Yeah, they're all going to require CPUs. They are all going to require hydraulic pistons. And they're all obviously going to require robot parts. Are any of these possible without Thermalite sheets? No. Yes, the farmer robot is. The combat bot isn't. The miner bot isn't. So farmer robot is capable of being built without Thermalite sheets. So I think that will be our target. We need robot parts, CPUs, and hydraulic pistons, and all sorts of complicated stuff for that. And I guess the other thing we should do is look at the galaxy map and see what are actually requested. So, like, that place wants miner robots. Do any of these places even want farmer? Yes, this place wants farmer robots. Alright, so that should work. So then, let's get some building materials together. I'm gonna need some building blocks, which I have stored in here. Alright, and I'm gonna need some more loaders. Doing pretty decently on most of the other stuff. We'll leave that for now. Alright. Could have sworn I blocked that phrase, but whatever. Alright, so we do that. And let's just get this set up relatively close by, just for the sake of convenience. I'm just gonna set it up like over here. Alright, so I need to figure out... Really, what I need to figure out is what resources I do need. I don't need Thermalite sheets, but I do need all sorts of other things. So, let's see. Shipping pad requires concrete and emergency beacons. Probably gonna make a bunch of those. Let's grab some concrete to get the medium-sized shipping pads. Which one is concrete? It's this one. Grab a stack of those. I grab another couple stacks. And grab some steel beams. We're going to need a couple of these to import all of the various resources. Alright, steel beams, steel beams, steel beams. Where are the steel beams? It's further back, looks like. Here they are. And electronic components and emergency beacons. Alright, so we get the electronic components. And how many of these do we have now? Got 5 of them. Yeah, 5 should probably be enough. Alright, so let's head over here. And we're going to need to do some working backwards to figure out what we need. Alright, so robots. Farmer robot requires robot parts. The xenoferrite plates are just easy. The barrels are, I believe, also easy. So yeah, barrels are just xenoferrite plates, so that's fine. Robot parts require thermalite sheets. Everything requires freaking thermalite sheets. That's so inconvenient. Alright, so then we need to set up more thermalite sheet production, I guess. Which is going to be easier said than done. But we do have enough mining force that we can set up wherever now. Which will definitely be handy. Also, our scanner has been scanning. That's nice. We'd love to see it. And we also made the thing for the orbital uplink, probably. Station management. No connection. Oh, I probably didn't attach power to it. Oh no, it's just still producing. Okay, construction is happening. Maybe looking like 55% done. Alright, yep, that'll happen eventually. In the meantime, we just need to place down a thing every so often. Alright, so if everything requires robot parts, and robot parts require thermalite sheets, then that is a problem. Because the only way to make thermalite sheets, like, you can't even import them, right? Pretty sure. Just find a station over here. And station upgrades, market office. Yeah, see, none of these are thermalite sheets. And just to be clear, none of the stuff that I already have is thermalite sheets either. Which means we are going to have to set up a lava smeltery system thing for this. Alright, so let's then mark down that thermalite bars are going to be one of the things. So robot parts also require advanced machinery parts, electronic components, and polymer boards. These things seem very complicated. Yeah, these things seem incredibly complicated. I'm just going to make another relatively simple one, I think. Why do all of these require random stuff? Alright, some of these are worse than others. No, I really wanted to make farmer robots. We're just going to have to work through the complications. So, I say we just work backwards, just placing down assembly lines as we go. So, first off, final assembly is going to be 4 different assemblers making 4 different things. This is gonna suck. Alright, so we have farmer robot torso, step 1. And that is going to have 4 inputs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And an output, which I guess we can just have going on forwards, like so. Then, actually, we can probably save some space by overlapping these on the belts, right? So this is going to be farmer robot head, which also requires robot parts. So we can have that one be robot parts, and then have both of these feed off of it. And then this also requires CPUs and polymer boards, which this doesn't require. So CPUs and polymer boards. Then we have another one, which is farmer robot arm, which is more robot parts, hydraulic pistons, xenoferrite plates. Oh, this also needs an output. So let's have that in. So yeah, that's 1, 2, 3 inputs and an output. Then this requires robot parts, xenoferrite plates, and hydraulic pistons. So that gets 1, 2, 3, and an output. And then finally we have one more, which is robot parts, hydraulic pistons, and xenoferrite plates. Alright, so that's actually literally just the same 3 things. That's for the arm, and that's for the leg. So what we can do then is have those feed off of the same belt, and have their outputs be there and there. Alright. So we have that. And that is going to be final assembly for all of those. And then they need to feed into... Gosh, I've forgotten how assembly lines even work. Let's take a look and see if any of this stuff can tell me assembly lines. Assembly lines. Run a power line on top of the assembly line. Rail pieces either come with a power line connector or have one variant with one and one without. This is like a big conveyor belt with inbuilt machines. So you have the start, which you supply a robot torso to. Then a producer does things to it. And then rail pieces are just filler. Splitters and mergers do branching, which isn't necessary. Paint is just for fun, and then the shipping pad sends it off. Alright. So we're going to need to set that up, which means we're going to need a lot of building materials, and we're going to need to make some of those things. So So let's head over here, get more building blocks. And see what in here do I not need. I don't need that. Probably don't need those. And what else can I get rid of? I can get rid of the construction material and these tier 3 belt stuff. Alright, and then let's just grab the rest of that. Alright, so we need an assembly line start, first of all. Then we need probably a couple producers, which means xenoferrite plates. So let's head over and grab some of those. Xenoferrite plates. So grab a couple of those, and fortunately these are not that expensive. So do these stack? They do. So let's just have 5 for now. And see how many we need for this farmer robot. Right, now we head on over. Now let's make some space here, which didn't place for some reason. There we go. Alright. So, assembly line... Where did they go? There it is. Alright, it's not that huge. Cool. So we get that in there. And we need power connections, because of course it does. Ooh. Open the Steam overlay. Didn't want to do that. Okay, we need to bring the power over there, which means being very careful and placing the power poles. Please say that the power lines are incredible. They're not. Alright, it would really be nice to have some sort of power line that's longer than these ones. Alright, so we just bring this over there, and one more, and we're in. Alright, so configure farmer robot. Okay. Cool. So that is just a thing that does nothing. So now we need to put an assembly line producer on. And probably another couple. Alright, so we can run that along. That's convenient. Okay. This seems very complicated. But how do we know what steps we need to take and in what order? How do we know? Alright. Let's just keep attaching these up. And wiring the power along, like so. And What on earth? That's attach arm left. So then this one has to be attach arm right. Why are there so many steps? Why can this not just be convenient and simple? Alright, I'm gonna need probably all of those. Then. So then this will be attach leg left. And that'll be attach leg right. And let's just get all of these in. Alright, so we get those all in. And now we wire the power up. Alright, so that's that. Attach leg left. So that's arm 1, arm 2. Leg left. Farmer. Leg right. Then we have attach head. Then we need to do the 5 welding related steps. Golly, this sure is some effort. I need more building materials. Alright, so let's head over here and grab those. Yoink. Going through building blocks like crazy here. So we get those, and probably causing all sorts of mayhem in the factory. Alright, so arms, legs, head. Now we have to do the connections. So we expand that out. Put in another couple. And I think this should be enough. So, farmer robot, weld arm left. Farmer robot, weld arm right. Farmer robot, weld head. Alright. And then attach these two. Weld leg left. Weld leg right. And now, we just need to put the shipping pad in. So we need steel beams, advanced machinery parts, and emergency beacons. Alright, so let's head back over here and find some materials. Alright. Advanced machinery parts, check. Steel beams, check. Emergency beacons, need xenoferrite plates, which are here. Alright, so we can make one of those. Goodness gracious, this is just the last step, too. Like, there's also crafting all of the fairly complicated stuff before this that we have to do. Alright, so shipping pad, medium assembly line. And for a medium shipping pad, it sure is freaking gigantic. Alright, let's expand this out. And how does this work? So we put that in. How does it work? Assembly line. And Alright. Something, something, something. Let's make an assembly line rail. And see what happens. Alright, I think that should be good. So I think that's connected. And you're going to send farmer robots using whatever happens to land there. Alright. So, yeah, hopefully that works and it's lined up properly. Looks like it is, but who can tell? Alright, now we need to get from these belts into that. Which means, really, we need to lay out which of these belts are doing what. So first of all, this is the torso. Actually, do we have signs? Can I just make a bunch of these for organizational purposes? Alright. So, mode 1 by 1. So let's just get a sign on each of these belts to figure out what exactly each of them is doing. And I know these signs are floating. That's like the least of my concerns at this point. Alright. How do you set up signs? Where are the instructions for the signs? Oh, there's like a button that you have to turn on or something, right? Yeah. So you configure signs by pushing those buttons. If I remember correctly, this one was going to be robot parts. Then these 3 will be the others. So this can be energy cells and barrels and xenoferrite plates. Hang on, this actually needs to be there. So this is XF plates, and this is robot torso. Right, so then the robot part belt also goes into there, which also gets CPU and polymer boards. CPU. Okay. Polymer board. Okay. And what is that? The head. Robot head. Okay. Now we go over to this one. Right, and this one I believe was the 2 that are sharing. So robot parts. Hydraulic piston and XF plates, and then we get arms here, robot arms, and robot legs. All right. So that is all of that. Now, are these going to get in the way? Yeah, that they are. So we're going to have to remove those eventually, but that'll be fine while we're still doing the planning. So, robot torso is going to go and go in there. Right, so that's step one. Done is attach robot torsos to the assembly line. Then we have an arm, a leg. No, then we have 2 arms, 2 legs, and then the head. So the arms are... Which one? This one is the arms. So this belt can go around here. And then this has to split into there. And then move forward. And then split. Actually, this doesn't need to split, because that's the end of it. But whatever, we have that in. Oh, no, I messed up. Those are not connected at all. That's the leg. I missed the first arm one. It's this one here. So you get to go there and in there. Alright. So arms, check. Next up, we need to get the legs in, which is this one. So that can just go like that, and that, and that. And we need more building materials. Let's head over here. Find a couple stacks of belts. Alright, we have those. So then this comes along there and goes into there. And let's just confirm. These need input content of legs. And the head. These shouldn't need input content, right? Cool. Alright, so then finally we get the head over there, which is this one. And it needs to get up and over all that stuff. Before heading... No, wait. It does need to be up and over there. It's a very, very weird path that it's taking, but it's fine. Then it goes in there. Alright. So that's all of those hooked up. And now, theoretically, that should be the final assembly line done. And how much does it say this does per minute? It simply doesn't say. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you, game, for just simply not telling me. Alright, so this outputs 8 torsos a minute. 8 heads a minute. 8 arms. And... does this not get set? Farmer robot leg. Alright, so I think we need a couple rows of this. I would like this to be, like, quite fast. I don't know how fast we'll even be able to support. I also need more building materials. Where on earth did all of them go? So I need more building materials. I don't know how many of all of this stuff we're going to be able to produce on this factory, but I would like to aim for like 60 a minute. So like, you know, what, a second? It's a good natural amount of production to have. All right, so let's head back over here. And then let's just control Q this. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 60 something. 64. Alright. No, we need to swap recipes to this one. And send it all the way. Then we have to do this one and set it up. What am I going to do with this many farmer robots? Probably nothing. Probably am not going to even produce this many. But may as well have the capacity for it in the final stages, so that if I want to upgrade it, then it'll work. Alright, now we have to head over here and grab some more of those and head back. Alright, moving on over. Alright, so then that expands out a little bit, which we're going to need eventually. And now we just move this up like so. Alright. And then finally, we're not going to put the loaders and everything in yet. We are just going to run the belts though. Setting up the loaders is going to take ages and will require me messing with those signs, which I currently need. Alright, so that, and that, that, and that, and a couple more of these. And then we need to expand this side out. And boom, and boom. All right. So that is pretty good. Pretty good, solid production rate for all of these things. So next up, we need to start working on the individual inputs. So, energy cells. We need 8 a minute on that, and do we need it anywhere else? No, so we need 64 energy cells a minute, and let's get that set up. And I think we're just going to move backwards like one phase at a time, basically. We're going to do everything that goes directly into this, get their input set up, and we're going to need even more space. So this is going to be horizontal, main bus style almost. So, components. Oh right, energy cells are fluid assemblers, right? Fluid assembler. Let's make one of those. Pop it down. And configure. Alright. So that's 12 a minute. Which means we're going to need a couple of them, but not a huge amount. So let's make some more fluid assemblers. So this has 4 inputs, well, 3 inputs really, and an output, and fluids. So we get input 1, input 2, output, and no, actually it's going to be output there, and this side is going to be all inputs. And then that belt goes to this. Boom. Energy cells. And we need a couple of these, so let's go 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, in case we end up using a huge amount, 64. Alright, and then we attach the T intersections up to the back of these. And run the pipe along. Alright, progress is being made. We need more belts. We need more belts. So let's see, which one of these are the belts? It's you. Let's grab all of those. Alright, so that is the energy cell belt done. And it gets its inputs there, which are xenoferrite plates, electronic components, and glass. So let's get our signs up for that. 3, no, not back there. Thank you. There. This is XF plates. This is electronic components. And this is glass. Alright. So that is the first thing that goes directly into these. Next we need barrels, which should be easy. We need 64 of those a minute, and we don't need them anywhere else. So let's get that popped down, and you make barrels. And we just need 2 of these. Alright, and have them placed nicely, please. Alright, so we have 1 input, 1 output, and let's actually swap those just for the sake of convenience. The input can come from over there and the output can go over there. So then this is the barrels, and it has to attach into that. So then we grab these, we put 2 more signs in, and probably don't even need that to label, and that is xenoferrite plates. Alright, so that's another one down. Next up we have robot parts. Oh boy, I cannot wait to worry about robot parts. Also, while I'm labeling things, I should label the pipes as well. So this pipe is alumic acid. So this is alumic acid. Alright, so robot parts. Right. Put that in. And 4 inputs. So it's got Thermalite sheets. It's got advanced machinery components. It's got electronic components. It's got polymer boards, and it's got robot parts. So let's start with putting the signs in. And I need more signs. Alright, let's make another bunch of signs. Never have too many signs for clarity. So this is robot parts, it's the output. This is polymer boards, not ploymer. Then we also have these three. So Thermalite sheets. Thermalite sheets. We have advanced. Gosh, suddenly I've lost the ability to spell. Machinery components. And we have electronic components. Alright. So that's all of those. And how much of this do we need? This outputs 8 a minute, and we need probably a lot. So we need 8 a minute for that. So that's 64 a minute. You need 8 a minute for that. 8 a minute for that, and 8 a minute for that. So that's 8, 16, 24, 32. 32 a minute times 8 is a lot. So that's 8, 16, 24, 32, 8, 16, 24, 32. We're gonna have... We might have belt speed problems. I haven't done the math. We might be fine. So if we need 8... So if we need 32 per row, and there are 8 rows, then that means we need 32 of these machines. 5, 6, 7, 8... 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Alright, where are my building blocks? I need more of those already. And I think I need more assemblers as well. Yeah, I think that our production target is just insanely optimistic and we're never going to be able to manage it. But as long as we aren't hitting belt speed limitations, we'll keep going. Alright, so we grab all that stuff, and back we go. Alright, so we have all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. How is that only 17? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Nope, yeah, that is literally half of what we need. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, 31, 32. Alright, we've done it. We have placed down a hilariously large row of machines, which I don't know if our belts can handle. So the highest speed there is 16. 16 times 32 is... Hang on. Let me get out my calculator real fast. And 16 times 32 is 512, which, all things considered, not even close. Alright, so then we have to build these hilariously long belts, transporting the inputs. Alright, and another one. Gosh, adding the loaders to this is actually going to take ages. So I'm hopeful we will run into belt speed limitations somewhere else further down the line and not have to do that. Alright, so we have that. Then we also need to do these as the last two. Gosh, these belts are hilariously long for one single production line. Alright, so we have that. Cool, robot parts done. And now we just have to attach the robot parts there. And it's also going to need to split a couple times. So that splits off and just goes along this way, I guess. Where it also has to go in to this. Actually only has to split off once, which is convenient. We're pretty good at consolidating the different uses of robot parts. So yeah, that one gets them from there. These two both get it from there. Alright, robot parts done and split. So that's all of those three. Now, alright, the xenoferrite plates we're going to worry about later because that's a very simple thing. Now we move over to this row where we need hydraulic pistons. And hydraulic pistons go back here. How many hydraulic pistons do we need, actually? So we have just the one belt of them. And it's 8 per. So we need... What? Hello, GD Ballistic. You're playing Foundry. You're making a large, very complicated factory, and I am kind of confused. Alright, so we need 8 hydraulic pistons per one of these machines. What the heck are those? This is Foundry. It's a whole thing. These are assemblers. Basically, they're like the main place where you build things. Mod pack? No, this is Foundry. This is a different game. And I remember to set the stream info, right? Yes, I did. Yeah, this is not Satisfactory. Yeah, sorry. Must have gotten confused there, but yep, this is a whole different thing. Alright, so we have... How many hydraulic pistons? It's 8. So we need 128 hydraulic pistons total. Yeah, it's real cool. We're sort of in the end game at this point. We're building something very complicated. Alright, hydraulic pistons. How do you get made? Actually, are hydraulic pistons a different thing? Yes, we need fluid assemblers for them. Alright, fluid assemblers, here we go. And we needed... How much did I say we needed? 128 of it? Yeah, that sounds right. So we're going to need 11 of these. So we need to grab some more building materials. Sadly, no dimensional storage in this game, so you just have to run around grabbing stuff by hand whenever you run out. Alright, over we go. And first we need to grab some plates. Oh, wait, those aren't plates, those are building blocks. Wrong thing. Let's grab a bunch of those. And then we need polymer boards and circuit boards while we're at it. So let's grab some of those and some of these. Alright. These are called fluid assembler 1s, but there are no fluid assembler 2s. I've just realized that. That's a bit funny. It's an early access game, so probably planning on adding them. Alright, now we head on over and set that line up. Alright, so over here we go. And we needed like 11 of these total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and let's just expand that out real quick. Alright, and it's just one solid input, one solid output, and the fluid stuff. So we're going to run that as the output line, that as the input line, and get this in. Do some of the work now, some of the work later to make it less repetitive at any one time. Alright, so then we put the pipeline in, and now we put the signs on. So we get a sign saying hydraulic, whatchamacallit, hydraulic piston. Then we get that sign, which is low density oleumite. Low density oleumite. And then this one, which is just steel beams. So that says steel beams. Alright, and that's the hydraulic pistons, which we then take the hydraulic piston output and we drag that all the way over to here. And that's another one of those done. Okay, then that's XF plates, that's an output. Then the only things we need left are polymer boards and CPUs. Because those are both outputs. And then we have to also run belts for the xenoferrite plates and stuff over there. So, the polymer boards are going to be going into one of these as well, right? Yeah. So we're going to have to take that into account. So that's 8 per, and there's freaking 32 of them, so that's 512 polymer boards there. And then this is another 8 per, and there are 8 of them. So we need basically like 700-ish polymer boards. right? It's no, more like 600-ish. It's 512 there, 64 there. And none of the rest of these require anything, right? So 512 plus 64 is 576. Although I should verify that CPUs don't require polymer boards first. So components... Oh, they do. Okay. So CPUs are only there. And it's 8 a minute, so we need 64 CPUs. And those are made in chemical processors. So let's find some... wherever those are in all of this. Alright, let's make a couple of those. I don't know exactly how many we need. Alright, so get that in. Chemical processor. Where is the panel? There it is. CPU is 4 a minute. So we need 16 of these. That's unfortunate. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright. Chemical processors are being made. And just in terms of inputs and outputs, it's 2 solid inputs, 1 solid output. So let's just go... Let's use space efficiently here. So that's a solid input. That's a solid output. That's the other solid input. And then just the 1 fluid input, which goes there. Alright. Should be relatively straightforward, although also very, very large. 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Expand that out even more. 9, 10, 11, 12. And a little bit more. We're going to need more building blocks, which I am somewhat disoriented. They're over here. And we're also going to need to grab more belts while we're grabbing things. Alright. So we got those. And then we head over to the belts and pick some of them up. And let's see, that's going to be this one. And my inventory is full. Let's get rid of some thermalite sheets. Concrete could actually be handy. I don't need crusher 1s. I'm just going to make crusher 2s if I ever want to use them. So let's just use that space for another couple stacks of belts. Alright, now we're here. And I believe I made exactly the right number of chemical processors, so we just keep placing until we run out. Where's my explosives? Get rid of some of these little guys. And fill the floor back in. And we keep on placing these down. Alright, so that's that. And we even got the recipes in all of them somehow. That's convenient. So now we run these belts. This one goes down here. This one comes back. And then this one goes down here. And then these. So we need more pipes. That's fine. We'll just put the T intersections on and do the actual pipe itself later. Next time we go back to grab more building materials or whatever, we can also remember to grab some pipes. Alright, so that's those. And now we put the labels on. So we get CPU, something, and something. Alright, so this is CPU. Then this will be polymer boards. And then we have the calixite wafers. And finally, we have alumic acid. Which I think is something we need to produce for another thing, so that's convenient. Some overlap there. Alright, so that's all of those. And now we just run the CPU belt all the way over there. Alright, so next up is polymer boards and xenoferrite plates, which have to go to the outsides basically. So the polymer boards, we had previously figured out that there were 64 there, 512 there, so that's 576, and then we need more for these. So how much do these use? 1 a minute, and there are 16 of them. So 576 plus 16 is 592 polymer boards. So that is going to be in a casting machine. Do I have a casting machine on me? No, I do not. Let's make some. So let's make those. And these are going to require more pipes for related things, but... Alright, the casting machines are the ones that secretly want to go sideways. So that goes in there. And polymer boards. That's 30. So if we need 592, then that's, what, 20 of these? Alright. So we need to head back, restock on pipes, and then make some machinery parts. So we're going to need a bunch of casting machines for this. Alright, pipes. Grab a bunch of stacks of those. And then we need, for the casting machines, we need steel beams and advanced machinery parts. And we need a lot of them. Funny how some of these random machines at the ends are still running, doing whatever it is that they're doing. Alright. Advanced machinery parts, check. Steel beams, check. Let's make a bunch of casting machines. And then grab another stack of each of these. And I think we have... Okay, actually that's been manual crafting the last couple. I think we just need like a couple more. More of those. So 5, 10, 14, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. So we need 3 more. Alright, so that's that. Now we make our way back and set up the polymer board production. Alright, so now we're over here. Polymer boards. We've got 1. Is this set to ask for it? Yes, 1. And these should be able to be placed side by side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright. So that's all that. Now we run the output belt. And connect the pipes up. And this is just a 1-to-1 recipe, right? So nothing overly complicated here. Just pop all of these pipes in. And then may as well run the straight pipe along as well. It's quite long, but it has to be. Alright, and while we're here, we can also do these pipes. So that runs along. And that runs along. And that runs along, and done. Alright, so we have that. We have these. There's no second output, right? Yes. Alright, so now we put the signs on. So that is polymer boards. That is liquid polymer. Liquid polymer. Check. And polymer board, check. Now we need to run this along to a number of different places. So it's belting time, so that goes to there. Also splits and goes to there, and also splits and goes to there, where it doesn't do that, it wraps around like that, and in. And these two are output, so there's no real problem with messing with their space. Alright, so that's polymer boards in everywhere they need to go, I believe. Alright. So that is a lot of progress achieved. So what do we need? What do we need left? We need the xenoferrite plates. We need the intermediary steps for all of these. But it is currently 4:46. So I think we're going to call this a good stopping point. We've more or less finished the final production chain, and we are about ready to go. So we just need to get all of this stuff in, which massively easier said than done. But we are making serious progress. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We're going to be playing Foundry again on Thursday, where we will, let's be real, probably not finish this, but hopefully it goes well and we do. And then tomorrow we will be playing Satisfactory, where I am working on my automated wiring factory. So if you're interested in Satisfactory, we're building at a massive scale over there. This is probably building at an unnecessarily massive scale here. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.